Let's do it.
All right, guys. So we have one of our students, Luke, here on the call today. Luke's been in the program for a bit and he's absolutely crushing it. But it wasn't always that way. So I'd love to hear from you, Luke. Like, where were you when you joined the program? Why did you join the program? And where are you now? And how did you get from A to Z? That's kind of what I want to talk about today. So I'm just going to give you the floor. The floor is yours if you want to do a little bit of an introduction. And let's just start from the beginning. Sound good?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Sweet.
Well, hey, I'm Luke, videographer, video marketer here in Denver, Colorado. I've been making videos for 7 or 8 years now. And I originally joined the program with a few key problems. And I remember hopping on that first call with a coach to see like if CU Creators University could answer those questions. And the answer was yes to all those things. So those key issues were lead generation. I didn't know it at the time, but sales and just really having more conviction and standing by my higher prices because I was starting to charge more and I was starting to understand that like some clients had big budgets, but I didn't really like feel that I had that value myself, or I didn't know how to justify it and really believe in it. So belief in just having a bigger business. And I think just as you go through the video business and as you kind of grow naturally by like, what's the word? Sort of guessing along the way and just seeing what sticks. Questions arise that you run out of people to go to for the answers. And the only people to go to for the answers are people that have done it themselves. And that information becomes much harder to find on YouTube. And within my personal network, like I didn't know many entrepreneurs. So I decided like I needed to get some real actionable advice and support. And since joining, I think it was about 6-7 months ago, at that time, I was starting to land $5,000 to even like $15,000 projects, but I wasn't charging the right amount per video. So again, I knew that there was big value in this industry and ability to make a great income. Let's see where I'm at. But I think consistently, like I was definitely at like 2 to 5K a month with the occasional big project, but I didn't know how to make that a repeatable process. I didn't really know how to like really believe in it. So that's why I originally joined. And then since then, I got much better and much more confident in the lead generation process and just the ability to know that I can find clients and plant seeds and then have work lined up within a couple months. So there's that element. I have much stronger belief in like a sales process, knowing that once I have like an interested client, like I'm not going to blow it. I'm going to do everything I can to hopefully secure them as long as it's the kind of work I want. And revenue wise, going from like my total income last year was 40 to 50. I'm already on track. I've already gotten past that. I'm going to start over that, make it sound a little better. Revenue wise, last year, 2022, I think I hit like 40 to 50K in my business, which was great. It was livable, but I wanted to be more confident and ability to make a good income. And since then, I've passed that amount this year, and it's just turned to July, and I'm on track for over 6 figures. So super stoked. Been able to hit my goal of 10K a month 3 months in a row now, and even see a path to like growing way past that if I decide I want to do that.
Absolutely, man. And dude, congrats on all your success.
Thank you.
You've just been a good student of the process, simply put. And that's what we always tell students, because this isn't a get rich quick scheme. This is a coaching program where you jump in and, you have to do the work. And truth be told, there's no get rich quick schemes. And if someone's trying to sell you on one, it doesn't exist or it's illegal. And so you have to put in the work. So sometimes we get students who don't necessarily put in the work, and then they're like, why am I not getting results? And time again, we just let them know that like, hey, there's no magic trick here. There's really no secret. Go talk to any of our successful students. They'll simply tell you they went through the course, they showed up to coaching calls, they applied themselves, they got uncomfortable, and they just went through all the action steps that we teach in the program. And that's usually all the advice they get. And then it's like, it's me being like, see, told you so. So respect to you for, betting on yourself and putting in the work and actually, doing the thing. So
Yeah.
huge shout out there, like multiple consecutive 10K months, on track now to hit six figures, dude, is amazing. From 2, 3, 4, 5K sporadic months, hitting that consistency now for like 3+ months is a huge milestone, because now you have a proven process and a proven system. Now it's just about making these minor tweaks in refinements that will literally take you from where you're at now at like this 10K a month mark to like 30K plus. Like, you have the foundations down now, and you've proven to yourself you can do consecutive 10K months and make six figures. This is when it gets really fun. So
Yeah.
huge congrats to you, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
What I would love to do, or hear from you rather, is just kind of break it down a bit. Like, that's the big picture.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, people are gonna be wondering, okay, cool. Like, how did you go from 2, 3, 4, 5K sporadic months to 10K plus consistent? So that being said, would you mind, would you mind just kind of walking me through, like, how did that happen? What did you learn in the program specifically that enabled you rather to go from making 2, 3K a month to 10K plus consistently?
Yeah. Think on that for a second. The two biggest things I was able to learn from the course was a reliable method of lead generation. And then once those leads were wanting to get on calls or were interested in learning more, was just how to ask the right questions and diagnose what they needed, really. Because a lot of times a client will say they want a video, or say they want a video for X purpose, but they haven't thought, one, of like, if that's even the right application, and then of all the other applications that can make that video so valuable for their customers and helping them sell more of their products. So I think that's one thing I've gotten so much better at. And that was the first section of the course I clicked on, was the sales part of what exactly do you ask on these calls to show that you are a valuable videographer, to show that you're not just another person with a camera making a pretty video, and to show that, yeah, you can add a lot of value, to their business. That really enables you, one, in the eyes of clients, to be worth more, and in your own eyes of like, it doesn't feel good to just toss out, this video will be 5K, if you don't believe in that, or if you don't see the value yourself. So by first seeing the value myself of like, this video is easily going to sell them 10 customers, 20 customers, if they, and that value, depending on who the client is, could be 100 grand for their business. So that's another element of like what I've learned, is going after the right client, because you can't just charge any client 5, 10, 20K a video, but to the right customer that this course teaches you to go after and build relationships with, that's no problem for them. So that's been a huge thing, just going after the right clients, building those relationships tactically, not just sending out a million cold emails to every business on your street, but to go in with some finesse, I guess, and confidence in your strategy. So
Yeah,
I think
before we move on, because that was really amazing, and would you agree with the statement that like most creatives and videographers specifically, they just skip the sales process entirely? Like, would you agree or disagree with that?
I think a lot of, well, you definitely, as a videographer, no matter how talented you are, it's not obvious when you're creative minded that you need to get good at the business side, like simple as that. And so a lot of people can be walking around with a lot of question marks and confusion in their head of like, why can I not sell my videos for more? Why can I not make more money? Like, am I not worth it? Or my videos? And the question is always, are my videos not good enough? And that's the wrong question. It was a huge mindset shift for me of, my videos are more than good enough, actually. They're probably in the top, let's just, to be safe, like 20 to 40% of videographers in America. So they're not the best. They're not in the top 1%. I'm not making feature films. However, my videos are solid and I believe in them. So I needed to shift to strengthen the business part of my process. And you got to have both, of course. Like, you can't just be a really good salesman and then have bad videos. But when you have both, then you have a business.
Yeah.
So
kind of what you're saying is like, most videographers, they think that it's their work. That's not landing them the deals, but it's really their lack of the boring business stuff, the sales
Yeah.
process, knowing what value their work brings to the table, and not just getting shiny object syndrome when you get a form submitted on your website that's like, hey, we need a video, how much is it
Yeah.
going to cost, and just blurting out a number because you're excited, but actually taking a step back, being like, hold on, let's go through a process here, let's figure out first if you even need this video at all, and second, what's the value that this video is bringing to the table. Essentially, that's what you're saying was the first main shift between making
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5K a month and where you are now, is understanding what value you're bringing to the table by taking your clients through a certain sales process.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what to add.
Cool.
Wondering
Yeah.
why.
And
Left on my brain.
like that question where I was like, yes or no, like, do most creatives skip the sales process? Like, the idea behind that behind that question is like what I just said. Like, most creatives, someone says, hey, I need a video, what's it going to cost me? And they just say, oh, X. And by
Mhm.
doing so, they're leaving a ton on the table most of the time because they have no idea what value they're bringing to the table. They're not
Yeah.
solving any problems. They have absolutely no idea why this business wants to spend their hard-earned money with you on this video. You just see the $2,000 that you might be able to make, and you do a quick grab, and then you move on to the next. And most creatives get stuck in that 2 to 3K per project, 4K, even 5K project mark, because it's hard to breach through that unless you know what value you're bringing to the table. You can
Yeah.
land 2, 3, 4, 5K
But you
deals,
won't exactly understand why.
but you won't understand why.
Yeah.
And you could be, those same deals could be worth 10, 15,
Right.
20K.
Yeah.
And not only, some people are going to hear this and just think like, oh, that's sleazy, that's slimy. Like, I don't want to just rake people over for as much money as they possibly have. But by understanding that, you're actually providing more value and you're actually helping them a lot more. So you're providing them with a 20K service instead of a 5K service, because most clients, they don't know why, even the clients, not just the videographers, but the clients, a lot of the time
Yeah.
don't know why they're getting the videos produced. They just feel like they should be doing it because everyone else is doing it. And maybe a trusted friend or colleague keeps telling them, you got to do this video thing, but they have no idea why, and they don't have a strategy. So when you can become a video strategist and not just a videographer, you can make so much more money. And in a nutshell, I think that's what you're describing and what you've become.
I think what can be easy to like write off, I don't know, maybe an ad you see on Instagram, is you see like, okay, we can teach you how to charge 5, 10K a video. And immediately in your brain, as like a less experienced on the business side videographer, you say, that's impossible. You must be cheating them. You must be just doing it because your video looks the best. And that's just not true, because and you may be in that mindset because actually you are in that mindset of not believing in the value of it because you don't understand the value of a video and just what it does for a business. So this course definitely teaches you about what that could be. And it's simple. Like, if you can take it from the perspective of it'll help you get this many customers. And we have this example in the course of if you help a barbershop sell 50 more haircuts, that's whatever, $1,000 of revenue. So obviously your video is not going to be worth 10K. But if you understand that like 20 customers is massively different value to a bigger customer, that is a mindset shift. And that's when you understand that, maybe I am worth it because I have this understanding of the value of it. It's really as simple as that. Like, understanding the value enables you to believe more in higher prices. So that's something you can learn quickly. And the other, I think, mental side of that, which I struggle with a little bit, but is every increment that you are able to raise your prices, you kind of fortify that belief in yourself because someone else saw that value in you. And a lot of times they saw that value in you so easily, and you're like, oh shoot, I could have charged double. They said yes really fast. But every step is a learning process. Like, I think for me, even 3 months ago, to charge 3 or 4K per video, I was like scared to throw that number out. Not because I didn't think it was worth it, not because I didn't think that they would pay it, but because like I didn't know if I really stood behind that. But just mentally, like, the more you do it, the more you believe in it. And I'm on these shoots, I'm directing people, always getting a little more skilled along the way. And I can easily stand by 4 to 5K a project now for a single video. And there's people in the course doing way more than that, doing 2 projects a month for 10K each, with one brand story video and 5 social media clips. And they're also worth it. So it sounds insane until you're doing it, and until you are surrounded by people doing it.
Yeah, very well said, man. And it comes back to the thing you just said about knowing the value that you're bringing to the table. And it's like, if there's a construction company, for example, and their average job is like $60,000 because they do these high-end backyard remodels, and your brand story video lands them one client. That's it, just one client. And you charge them 10K for that brand story video.
Yeah, that's cheap.
That's going to be worth it all day, every day to them. And that's the switch you have to make versus thinking, I feel bad for charging $10,000 for one day of production and maybe 2 days of editing. Like, that seems like a lot of money. I feel like I'm kind of ripping them off. But when you think of it from the value perspective, that company is going to be thrilled to throw you that 10K
Absolutely.
pay in full all day long, because they know if they land one customer, someone comes to their website and they're looking at some competitors and none of the competitors have video, and they have an awesome 2-minute brand story video on their homepage, and they land that client, that video is now paid off forever. And they're probably going to land 50 more, and they're going to like 5,000x their return on that investment. Meanwhile, the old version of you, the videographer that doesn't price on value, feels bad that they charged so much money. And the client is like, I just got the best freaking deal in the entire world. And the videographer is in his head like, I shouldn't, like, I feel slimy charging $10,000. When in reality, he should feel horrible about himself for not charging 50.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's these kinds of switches, and this has been an awesome conversation so far. These are some of the total key things that most of our students do struggle with. So I would love to get into what you're selling in packages. So you've mentioned brand story videos, social media content. You're doing 10K plus a month now consistently. What kind of videos are you selling? And what kind of packages?
So it helps to have skill set of photography as well, because that gets included in a couple of projects, but that's not the main thing.
Yeah, photography is always a great upsell.
It's an add-on.
It's tough to make a comfortable 6+ figures with just photography.
Yes.
It's
no,
possible,
I wouldn't recommend that.
But yeah, video is just bread and butter for sure. But photography, always an awesome upsell. I totally agree.
Yeah. Well, definitely the primary thing I try to sell is a brand story video. And a lot of customers, they come and in that classic situation of, I need a video, but they don't really know what it's for. What they really need is a brand story video, which, explains who they are, what they do, and why they do what they do, builds an emotional connection. So that, I think, can be like the easiest thing to really feel like is super valuable. I don't like that sounds.
No, you're good, dude.
Yeah.
It's just raw and run with it. That's awesome.
All good.
What is a brand story video? When you say brand story video, what is a brand story video?
Yeah. So brand story video is just going to take your client and help their customers get to know them and what they do and why they do what they do. So on a base level, like, you would want someone to be able to watch that about your client, and they come in with a great understanding of not just what they sell, the product or service, but also who they are and like why they're different. And that's a part of why it's so valuable, is you get that human to human connection, where you have so many brands still, even some successful brands, that don't have any human element to their brand. So when you can look at like, oh, this is the guy that founded this beer garden. What a guy. He was inspired by his trip to whatever, Germany, and he wanted to bring that back home. Like, now you have an emotional connection, versus, like you're saying, a beer garden that doesn't have a video and it has no real personality because it doesn't have that human element. So it helps a client build a personal connection with their customer. So that in itself is super valuable. And even from the perspective of just, what do you guys do? I'd rather watch the video than read 2 paragraphs. The data is there backing that. That people would rather watch a video, especially as we get more and more digitized. So, and then you can really build out a business from there, right? Like, that's your bread and butter that any business is going to need. Who are you, what you do, and why. But from there, once you have a client really believing in video, which oftentimes like working with you is that shift of them for the belief because they see themselves represented, see how awesome it looks, they start closing more deals. You can build off of that where you offer testimonials, which I do from time to time. And then most companies need social media content, which one thing I learned from the course is that is a really easy upsell. It's not going to be a lot of work for you, but it's nonetheless really valuable. And you've already got the footage right. You've already got the cut. It's going to take you 2 hours to make whatever, 5 to 10 clips. And that's super valuable. So one thing I've learned really just through watching other students do it is once you've got their attention and once they believe in what you're selling, which often is that brand story video for me, you can, if you want to, really look at their website, look at their current marketing and say like, your FAQ page could really use someone actually explaining that so people really read it. Your about page could really use a brand story video. Your homepage could really use a header that's flashy and ropes people in. Your social media sucks. Can we add on photos? So and you don't have to do photography. Like you can specialize in whatever you want. But I've found, and these are the sections I have on my website, that what's really, really valuable and easy to explain the value of is going to be ads. Didn't mention ads yet, but ads for sure can have a great ROI for business, testimonials, and brand story.
Amazing, dude. And again, this just goes all the way back to the concept of leading with value and charging based on value. Most videographers, again, they just sit there and they wait for a client to say, hey, we need a video,
what they need.
And that's it. And they don't even look at their website. They don't care. They're just like, oh yes, like I have a $2,000 project, and they're just stuck in that loop forever. But you're now taking a much more proactive approach where whether they hire you or not, you're still leading with value and you're making recommendations on their video strategy and their website. And it's a very simple concept. Like there's no need to make it any more complex than this is, do proactive outreach. So don't just wait for clients to come to you. When you do so, lead with value. Don't just try to sell them something that you and I both know they don't need. Learn the value behind what you're offering, and then just simply lead with value. Hey, I really think you guys could benefit from something called a brand story video. If you're interested in hearing more about this, would love to set up a call and talk about why. Hey, I really think you could also use some testimonial videos on your website, because right now when I come to your website, it's all stock photos, there's no video and there's zero emotional connection, and you guys have an amazing product and an amazing offer. And, I'd love to be able to hear from some of your clients before booking a call so that I feel comfortable about spending my time, booking a call with you guys to learn more. So, and it's like, whether they go for it or they don't, you just lead with value. And, out of 10 people, 4 of those are going to be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. We've never thought about doing this kind of thing. Or, yeah, we've been meaning to do that. Thank you so much for those recommendations. We're absolutely interested. And then it's like the easiest sell in the world. And then you price with value. So just to sum everything up, that sounds like it's what you've been jamming on. And again, you've just been a great student of the process. You've gone through the course, you've learned all these things, and you've taken action, and you've put yourself in the fire and seen how these things work firsthand, and had success with it, obviously. So, dude, this has been an awesome call. I mean, we could probably go forever. Probably
I'm sure
hours. There's so much to talk about, but this has been just really juicy and value packed so far, which is kind of how I like these to be. Is there anything else that you would tell your past self before he joined the program, in regards to anything that, we maybe didn't touch on today, that you think might be valuable for someone who was in your shoes 7 months ago before you joined the program? Other than that, they should just join the program.
I think it's just such a,
I kid.
yeah, I mean, pretty much that. Yeah. But just speaking to like the general, anyone who is similar to me and like on the fence about wanting to invest in themselves, if you're at a point where you're asking questions that you can't find the answers to, but like you feel like you're driven enough to find those answers, and in general, like you feel like you're a driven person that sets goals and is capable of analyzing like their weaknesses and humble enough to face those things, that's how you know you're ready to like make an investment in yourself and really level up. It almost sounds corny of like, yeah, you can level up, but you can do it actually pretty quickly, which again is another one of those things that if you're looking for limiting beliefs, right, you're going to say, I can never charge 5K a video. This guy is selling something like you. If you're looking for limiting beliefs, you can find them. But if you're a driven person and you also understand that just investing in hearing from people who have done it before is insanely valuable, more than I even really knew. That's how you know you're ready, I think, because I was the type of person that I mean, I probably looked at multiple courses like this, and you hear from different personalities and people have different selling points. But one thing that was really a shift for me, I think it was a quote of something like, you might have said it, honestly. Like, you could take 10 years to figure it out yourself and kind of be struggling along the way, and you'll get those same answers eventually. Or you could do it in a year and learn from people who have already done it. And that's super empowering. And now that I've experienced that, I would do it again if I had aspirations to scale to 1 million and I needed to find a business owner that had done that. And then, like, whatever the cost was, it would be worth it if it helped you do it right. So you see so many people in Creators University the day that, or the week that they join, they're like, wow, I just made my first sale using the process. And it's usually a higher number than the investment, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, I think just like get clear on what you need help with, and then hop on a call and ask, can you help me with those things? Chances are the answer is a definite yes. And then be willing to put in the work, put your head down for even just a few months of analyzing those weaknesses and figuring out the answers to how to improve at those things. For me, lead gen, sales primarily. So now that I've gotten better at those things, like, those things aren't issues. And one thing I did want to add is, like, for me, I had the goal of, all right, let's make this a comfortable income, and then I can get to like my really bigger goals, which is more creative, like make documentaries. And so it enables you to build that comfortable income, build a business as big as you want. You have the resources and people who are experienced enough to learn how to scale it if that's your desire. And then you can really assess, like, do you want to spend more time with your family? I want to make documentaries that go on Netflix. I have more time and money to do that now. And that's like my favorite outcome. And again, that's all within 7 months that I'm already thinking about these things, versus how do I make a stable income? Now I get to play a bigger game, which is super exciting.
1000%, dude. Well said. And again, congrats, man. You've been crushed. You're going to continue to. And thanks so much for hopping on today and sharing these bits of wisdom. Seriously, this is going to be probably more valuable than you can even imagine to,
Hope so.
a lot of people who may eventually join the program or may not, and that's cool too. So they're really going to appreciate this. I know it. So Luke, thanks for hopping on today and sharing all this knowledge of wealth, or wealth of knowledge rather, and let's keep crushing it, dude.
Hey, thanks for making the course.
Yeah, dude.
Sweet. All right.